Today I'm going to be showing you my off-grid power system that I've been mostly installing by myself over the past couple of weeks, with a bit of help from my partner on the lifting side, as she mostly keeps away from the electronics. Has it been easy learning and setting up this off-grid system? Honestly, no. But was it worth it? It was 100% worth it. I would do it again, and I've had a blast doing it. As long as you're taking it slowly and setting it up safely, 100% worth it. As a disclaimer up front, I am not an electrician, and you should not use anything you're seeing as a tutorial or advice. This is purely how I did it. But with that out of the way, let's get into it. Here you can see a 5 kilowatt battery, which leads into the distributor bus bar that is fused, along with the power tracking for how much is flowing in and out of the battery. Here you can see the charge controller that converts the solar panel's power into the battery. It feeds back into the bus bar and then into the inverter, and the inverter can pull directly from the solar panels or from the battery. For now it's just a 3000 watt inverter, but I've got plans to upgrade it for having a second 5000 watt inverter, bringing the total to 8000 watts. Which will be more than enough to convert the house from on-grid to off-grid and try to reduce our energy bills down to £0 per month. We'll still be keeping the grid for now and into the winter until we've tried it for a couple of years. The more we can use this system and the solar panels, the less we can rely on the grid, and in turn, the less we'll be paying for grid power. I've contacted my energy company and they're going to be installing a disconnect switch free of charge, which will effectively allow me to turn off all the power to the house and allow me to safely work on the consumer unit, where I'll be installing a transfer switch, which will allow me to choose if the house is powered from the grid or off-grid. So on days like this, I will definitely be using the grid. But until we've got enough battery power to get us through the winter days, we'll just see how it goes across the year. I have looked for my next battery to buy, a 315 amp hour battery, which will bring my total to 400 amp hours, or in kilowatts, around about 24 kilowatts. I'll put the actual number on screen now. As you can see there, that's the 8 solar panels that I finished hooking up today. They're now all connected, and it's currently around about 7 p.m. and it's bringing in twice the amount of idle power that we need. For further plans for expanding down the line, I will be placing another 16 panels on the roofs of the garage, the outbuildings, and the house, which will bring the total to 24 panels, which will be more than we will ever need. And even during the winter days, we effectively can run fully off-grid. By doing this all myself, I've effectively saved around 60 to 70% on this system. As I've got plans for upgrading the battery panels and inverter down the line, it will allow us to grow to a system which would normally cost around about £25,000, and I'll be installing it for around about £6,000. Now that I've done the bulk of the work, it doesn't take much to add new components because it's all very modular. I've kept with Victron Energy for most of it, apart from the battery, as that's what's worked out best for me. These components are a little bit more expensive, but having it all the same and modular to expand, I just prefer. Down the line, once I'm able to drive, I'll be getting an electric car and I'll be installing a EV charger on the side of the garage. That's pretty much a brief overview of our off-grid system. I'm not putting this out as a tutorial because I don't want people to copy, since I'm not an electrician. There is probably hundreds of things that can be improved on it, but as for it functioning, and I feel I've learned enough and made it as safe as I can, I'm comfortable with using it. For now, our idle use is just the server room, which powers the home server, the networking, router, Starlink, and the cameras that surround the house. That's just our idle use. I've also started to use it on my work computer, so during the day, it's actively pulling around about 600 watts, and overnight, it's about 150 watts. This battery overnight gets to around 50% state of charge, which is why I want to expand the battery before converting the house fully over to it. It would do more than well enough during the day with all the solar panels, but it's not enough to get through the night for powering the whole house currently. And that's it all locked up so no one can get inside. This is currently where the mains power runs to the house. But due to some last minute changes in my plans, I had the wrong cable, so it's a little bit short for now. So I'll be getting a new armoured cable and hooking it up properly. Hooking it up properly when it comes time to installing the transfer switch. As you can see, the sun's going down now, and I'll still be pulling in 300 watts. And with 2 more panels installed, that brings us to a total of 3.5 kilowatt. I've got 2 more to install, and when I've got those up, we'll have around 4.6 kilowatt. And that's those 2 over there, and soon those 2 will be up here. And then for those last 2 panels in, that brings us a total of another 4 here. They're all connected from this one to this one to this one to this one. I've currently got them disconnected here, as I'll be waiting until the sun goes down, since this is currently live. About 200 to 210 volts DC, so I won't be connecting these up with these until the sun goes down, where I'll be switching over the left panels to be connected via a Y along with these right panels, bringing the total to about 4.6 kilowatt. The charge controller I've got will clip a lot of that. Most of this is way over paneling for the winter, and during the summer / these kind of days, I can expect to fully charge the battery in about an hour or 2. Along with this number of panels, supplying the idle load for the house, even during the winter days where it's a bit stormy during the day. But with days like today, this will generate more than enough power. My next step is going to be increasing the battery size, as currently it's just a 5 kilowatt battery, but I'll be getting a 16 kilowatt battery just to sit alongside it, bring the total to around 22 kilowatt, which in theory should be able to power the house for about 3 days without any sun. As these are very efficient during less sunny days, we should be able to power the house idly. It's currently coming up to 9 AM and the sun isn't even really out yet. And we're already bringing in a kilowatt of power, where 600 to 700 watts of that are going towards charging the battery. Overnight we got down to around about 55% battery, and that's before we get the new batteries. I'll do an update later today when the sun comes out fully, but slightly annoyingly now, I won't be able to see how much power comes in by midday, as I'll probably be fully charged by then. I guess it's just more of a reason to get that power used for the rest of the house, so I can benchmark how it performs through the rest of the day. It's only just hit 11 AM, and we're already pulling in 2.2 kilowatts from the panels, where 1.7 kilowatts of that is going to the battery. As you can see there, we started getting some power at 6 AM from the panels, and we're already pulling in more power than we were using at that time. Here you can see where I've now got my work computer on, and we're already way overcharging. And the best bit about all of that, it's not even sunny, it's just mildly bright. And with it being just mildly bright today, it's already got to 86% charge on the battery. So if it does happen to get full sun before it hits 100%, I'll see how much is it bringing in. I will keep in mind, even though I've got 4.6 kilowatt of panels, I have massively overpaneled for exactly these kind of days. And I shouldn't end up going above 3.5. I shouldn't end up going above around 3.5 kilowatt, because that's all the charge controller is rated for. By overpaneling, it's allowed me to pull in all this power so early in the day without any sun being properly out. And since the panels are around £90 each for 585 watts, I'd say that's well worth it. I'll give it a couple of hours and hope that the sun comes out before we hit 100%. If not, I'll have to wait until another day to give you an update on this. With my computer now drawing 400 to 500 watts, let's give it a quick test. I'm going to take the new air fryer, and instead of connecting it to grid power, I'm going to connect it to my off-grid power and cook my lunch with it to see how it performs and give it a bit more of a stress test. And also it just saves from using up grid power when the battery is currently fully charged. Even though this is the day today, it is 1 PM, the battery's fully charged, so might as well make use of it and see how it performs on the darker days. So let's get these cooked. This is where my off-grid power comes into the house for now, before I get it properly connected up. It's in the server room, So we're just going to casually cook up some food in the server room. And while that's cooking, and here you can see it's drawing an extra 2 kilowatts for the air fryer. And only 600 watts of that is coming from solar because it's so dark out, where the other 2 kilowatts are coming from the battery. But that will quickly recharge over the rest of the day, even though it is very dark out. But we'll let that cook for now and see how it performs. And with them cooked fully off grid, I'd call that a win. Right, I'm going to eat these and then work out how much energy that used and how much that would have costed if I was on grid. But that's our brief summary of our off-grid power system. If you want any further details on it, let me know and I'll do a follow-up video. But for now, if you enjoy this and other projects like it, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel to see where we go next. See you in the next one.